The cat Felis caudus, also referred to as the domestic cat, is a small domesticated carnivorous mammal. It is the only domesticated species of the family Felidae. Advances in archaeology and genetics have shown that the domestication of the cat occurred in the Near East around 7500 BC. It is commonly kept as a pet and farm cat, but also ranges freely as a feral cat avoiding human contact. It is valued by humans for companionship and its ability to kill vermin. Its retractable claws are adapted to killing small prey species such as mice and rats. It has a strong, flexible body, quick reflexes, and sharp teeth, and its night vision and sense of smell are well developed. It is a social species, but a solitary hunter and a crepuscular predator. Cat communication includes vocalizations including meowing, purring, trilling, hissing, growling, and grunting, as well as body language. It can hear sounds too faint or too high in frequency for human ears, such as those made by small mammals. It secretes and perceives pheromones. Female domestic cats can have kittens from spring to late autumn in temperate zones and throughout the year in equatorial regions, with litter sizes often ranging from 2 to 5 kittens. Domestic cats are bred and shown at events as registered pedigreed cats, a hobby known as cat fancy. Animal population control of cats may be achieved by spaying and neutering, but their proliferation and the abandonment of pets has resulted in large numbers of feral cats worldwide, contributing to the extinction of bird, mammal, and reptile species. As of 2017, the domestic cat was the second most popular pet in the United States, with 95.6 million cats owned and around 40 million households owning at least one cat. In the United Kingdom, 26% of adults have a cat, with an estimated population of 10.9 million pet cats as of 2020. As of 2021, there were an estimated 220 million owned and 480 million stray cats in the world. Etymology and naming. The origin of the English word cat, Old English cat, is thought to be the late Latin word catus, which was first used at the beginning of the 6th century. 4. The late Latin word may be derived from an unidentified African language. 5. The Nubian word Cadusco wildcat and Nobian cax are possible sources or cognates. The forms might also have derived from an ancient Germanic word that was absorbed into Latin and then into Greek, Syriac, and Arabic. 7. The word may be derived from Germanic and Northern European languages and ultimately be borrowed from Uralic, cf. Northern Sami Gavi, female stoat, and Hungarian Haugi, lady, female stoat. From Proto-Uralic *kazu, female of a furred animal. The English puss, extended as pussy and pussycat, is attested from the 16th century and may have been introduced from Dutch pose or from Low German puskat, related to Swedish katipus or Norwegian puss, pusikat. Similar forms exist in Lithuanian puigo and Irish puisin or puisin. The etymology of this word is unknown, but it may have arisen from a sound used to attract a cat. A male cat is called a tom or tomcat 11 or a gib, 12 if neutered. A female is called a queen 13-14 or sometimes a molly, 15 if spayed. A juvenile cat is referred to as a kitten. In early modern English, the word kitten was interchangeable with the now obsolete word catling. 16. A group of cats can be referred to as a clouder, a glaring, 17, or a colony. Taxonomy. The scientific name Felis caudus was proposed by Carl Linnaeus in 1758 for a domestic cat. Felis caudus domesticus was proposed by Johann Christian Polycarpus Leben in 1777. Felis demon proposed by Constantine Satunin in 1904 was a black cat from the Transcaucasus, later identified as a domestic cat. In 2003, the International Commission on Zoological Nomenclature ruled that the domestic cat is a distinct species, namely Felis caudus. In 2007, the modern domesticated subspecies F. sylvestris caudus sampled worldwide was considered to have probably descended from the African wildcat F. libica. Following results of phylogenetic research, 2320 for 8 in 2017, The IUCN Cat Classification Task Force followed the recommendation of the ICZN in regarding the domestic cat as a distinct species, Felis caudus. Evolution. Main article, Cat Evolution. Skulls of a wild cat top left, a house cat top right, and a hybrid between the two bottom center. The domestic cat is a member of the Felidae, a family that had a common ancestor about 10 to 15 million years ago. 26. The evolutionary radiation of the Felidae began in Asia during the Miocene around 8.38 to 14.45 million years ago. 27. Analysis of mitochondrial DNA of all Felidae species indicates a radiation at 6.46 to 16.76 million years ago. The genus Felis genetically diverged from other Felidae around 6 to 7 million years ago. Results of phylogenetic research shows that the wild members of this genus evolved through sympatric or pairpatric speciation, whereas the domestic cat evolved through artificial selection. 29. The domestic cat and its closest wild ancestor are diploid and both possess 38 chromosomes, 30 and roughly 20,000 genes. 31. Domestication. See also domestication of the cat and cats in ancient Egypt. A cat eating a fish under a chair, a mural in an Egyptian tomb dating to the 15th century BC. It was long thought that the domestication of the cat began in ancient Egypt, where cats were venerated from around 3100 BC. However, the earliest known indication for the taming of an African wildcat was excavated close by a human Neolithic grave in Chilarocambos, southern Cyprus, dating to about 7,500 to 7,200 BC. Since there is no evidence of native mammalian fauna on Cyprus, the inhabitants of this Neolithic village most likely brought the cat and other wild mammals to the island from the Middle Eastern mainland. 35 scientists therefore assumed that African wildcats were attracted to early human settlement in the Fertile Crescent by rodents, in particular the house mouse Mus musculus, and were tamed by Neolithic farmers. This mutual relationship between early farmers and tamed cats lasted thousands of years. As agricultural practices spread, so did tame and domesticated cats. 30 to 36 wild cats of Egypt contributed to the maternal gene pool of the domestic cat at a later time. The earliest known evidence for the occurrence of the domestic cat in Greece dates to around 1200 BC. Greek, Phoenician, Carthaginian, and Etruscan traders introduced domestic cats to southern Europe. 38. By the 5th century BC, they were familiar animals around settlements in Magna Graecia and Etruria. 39. During the Roman Empire, they were introduced to Corsica and Sardinia before the beginning of the 1st century AD. By the end of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century, the Egyptian domestic cat lineage had arrived in a Baltic seaport in northern Germany. The leopard cat Prionailurus bengalensis was tamed independently in China around 5500 BC. This line of partially domesticated cats leaves no trace in the domestic cat populations of today. During domestication, cats have undergone only minor changes in anatomy and behavior, and they are still capable of surviving in the wild. Several natural behaviors and characteristics of wild cats may have pre-adapted them for domestication as pets. These traits include their small size, social nature, obvious body language, love of play, and high intelligence. Since they practice rigorous grooming habits and have an instinctual drive to bury and hide their urine and feces, they are generally much less messy than other domesticated animals. Captive leopardess cats may also display affectionate behavior toward humans, but were not domesticated. 42. House cats often mate with feral cats. Hybridization between domestic and other feline species is also possible, producing hybrids such as the Kellis cat in Scotland. Development of cat breeds started in the mid-19th century. An analysis of the domestic cat genome revealed that the ancestral wildcat genome was significantly altered in the process of domestication, as specific mutations were selected to develop cat breeds. Most breeds are founded on random-bred domestic cats. Genetic diversity of these breeds varies between regions and is lowest in purebred populations, which show more than 20 deleterious genetic disorders. Size diagram of the general anatomy of a male domestic cat. The domestic cat has a smaller skull and shorter bones than the European wild cat. 49, it averages about 46 centimeters 18 in head-to-body length and 23 to 25 centimeters 9.1 to 9.8 in height, with about 30 centimeters. Males are larger than females. 50 adult domestic cats typically weigh 4 to 5 kilograms, 8.8 to 11.0. Skeleton. Cats have 7 cervical vertebrae, as do most mammals. 13 thoracic vertebrae, humans have 12. 7 lumbar vertebrae, humans have 5. 3 sacral vertebrae, as do most mammals, but humans have 5. And a variable number of caudal vertebrae. In the tail, humans have only 3 to 5 vestigial caudal vertebrae fused into an internal coccyx. 51. 11 the extra lumbar and thoracic vertebrae account for the cat's spinal mobility and flexibility. Attached to the spine are 13 ribs, the shoulder, and the pelvis. 51. 16. Unlike human arms, cat forelimbs are attached to the shoulder by free-floating clavicle bones, which allow them to pass their body through any space into which they can fit their head. When it overpowers its prey, a cat delivers a lethal neck bite with its 2 long canine teeth, inserting them between 2 of the prey's vertebrae and severing its spinal cord, causing irreversible paralysis and death. 50. For compared to other felines, domestic cats have narrowly spaced canine teeth relative to the size of their jaw, which is an adaptation to their preferred prey of small rodents, which have small vertebrae. The premolar and first molar together compose the carnassial pair on each side of the mouth, which efficiently shears meat into small pieces, like a pair of scissors. These are vital in feeding, since cats' small molars cannot chew food effectively, and cats are largely incapable of mastication. 53. 37 cats tend to have better teeth than most humans, with decay generally less likely because of a thicker protective layer of enamel, a less damaging saliva, less retention of food particles between teeth, and a diet mostly devoid of sugar. Nonetheless, they are subject to occasional tooth loss and infection. Claws. Shed claw sheaths. Cats have protractable and retractable claws. 56. In their normal, relaxed position, the claws are sheathed with the skin and fur around the paw's toe pads. This keeps the claws sharp by preventing wear flaws. They may extend their claws in hunting or self-defense, climbing, kneading, or for extra traction on soft surfaces. Cats shed the outside layer of their claw sheaths when scratching rough surfaces. Most cats have 5 claws on their front paws and 4 on their rear paws. The dewclaw is proximal to the other claws. More proximally is a protrusion, which appears to be a 6th finger. This special feature of the front paws on the inside of the wrists has no function in normal walking but is thought to be an anti-skidding device used while jumping. Some cat breeds are prone to having extra digits polydactyly. 59 polydactylous cats occur along North America's northeast coast and in Great Britain. Ambulation. The cat is digitigrade. It walks on the toes, with the bones of the feet making up the lower part of the visible leg. 61. Unlike most mammals, it uses a pacing gait and moves both legs on one side of the body before the legs on the other side. It registers directly by placing each hind paw close to the track of the corresponding fore paw, minimizing noise and visible tracks. This also provides sure footing for hind paws when navigating rough terrain. As it speeds up from walking to trotting, its gait changes to a diagonal gait. The diagonally opposite hind and fore legs move simultaneously. Balance. Duration. 13 minutes and 37 seconds. 13:37. Comparison of cat riding reflexes in gravity and zero gravity. Cats are generally fond of sitting in high places or perching. A higher place may serve as a concealed site from which to hunt. Domestic cats strike prey by pouncing from a perch such as a tree branch. Another possible explanation is that height gives the cat a better observation point, allowing it to survey its territory. A cat falling from heights of up to 3 meters (9.8 feet) can right itself and land on its paws. During a fall from a high place, A cat reflexively twists its body and rights itself to land on its feet using its acute sense of balance and flexibility. This reflex is known as the cat righting reflex. 60 for a cat always rights itself in the same way during a fall, if it has enough time to do so, which is the case in falls of 90 centimeters 3.0 feet or more. 65. How cats are able to right themselves when falling has been investigated as the falling cat problem. Coats, main article, cat coat genetics, mother cat with her different colored offspring. The cat family Felidae can pass down many colors and patterns. The domestic cat genes MC1R and ASIP allow color variety in their codes. The feline ASIP gene consists of 3 coding exons. 67. 3 novel microsatellite markers linked to ASIP were isolated from a domestic cat bat clone containing this gene to perform linkage analysis on 89 domestic cats segregated for melanism. The domestic cat family demonstrated a co-segregation between the ASIP allele and coat black coloration. Senses, main article, cat senses, vision. Reflection of camera flash from the tapetum lucidum. A tabby cat with a third, translucent eyelid covering part of either eye. A cat's nictitating membrane shown as it blinks. Cats have excellent night vision and can see at 1/6 the light level required for human vision, 53/43. This is partly the result of cat eyes having a tapetum lucidum, which reflects any light that passes through the retina back into the eye, thereby increasing the eye's sensitivity to dim light. 69 large pupils are an adaptation to dim light. The domestic cat has slit pupils, which allow it to focus bright light without chromatic aberration. 70. At low light, a cat's pupils expand to cover most of the exposed surface of its eyes. 71. The domestic cat has rather poor color vision and only 2 types of cone cells, optimized for sensitivity to blue and yellowish green. Its ability to distinguish between red and green is limited. 72. A response to middle wavelengths from a system other than the rod cells might be due to a 3rd type of cone. This appears to be an adaptation to low light levels rather than representing true trichromatic vision. Cats also have a nictitating membrane, allowing them to blink without hindering their vision. Hearing. The domestic cat's hearing is most acute in the range of 500 Hz to 30 kHz. 74. It can detect an extremely broad range of frequencies ranging from 55 Hz to 79 kHz, whereas humans can only detect frequencies between 20 Hz and 20 kHz. It can hear a range of 10.5 octaves, while humans and dogs can hear ranges of about 9 octaves. Its hearing sensitivity is enhanced by its large movable outer ears, the pinnae, which amplify sounds and help detect the location of a noise. It can detect ultrasound, which enables it to detect ultrasonic calls made by rodent prey. Recent research has shown that cats have sociospatial cognitive abilities to create mental maps of owners' locations based on hearing owners' voices. Smell. Cats have an acute sense of smell, due in part to their well-developed olfactory bulb and a large surface of olfactory mucosa. About 5.8 square centimeters 0.90 into an area, which is about twice that of humans. 80 cats and many other animals have a Jacobson's organ in their mouths that is used in the behavioral process of phlegming. It allows them to sense certain aromas in a way that humans cannot. Cats are sensitive to pheromones, such as 3-mercapto-3-methylbutan-1-ol, 81, which they use to communicate through urine spraying and marking with scent glands. Many cats also respond strongly to plants that contain nepetalactone, especially catnip, as they can detect that substance at less than 1 part per billion. 83. About 70 to 80% of cats are affected by nepetalactone. 84. This response is also produced by other plants, such as silver vine Actinidia polygama and the herb valerian. It may be caused by the smell of these plants mimicking a pheromone and stimulating cats' social or sexual behaviors. Taste. Cats have relatively few taste buds compared to humans, for 170 or so, compared to more than 9,000 on the human tongue. 86. Domestic and wild cats share a taste receptor gene mutation that keeps their sweet taste buds from binding to sugary molecules. leaving them with no ability to taste sweetness. They, however, possess taste bud receptors specialized for acids, amino acids such as protein, and bitter tastes. Their taste buds possess the receptors needed to detect umami. However, these receptors contain molecular changes that make cat taste umami different from that of humans. In humans, they detect the amino acids glutamic acid and aspartic acid, but in cats, they instead detect inosine monophosphate and L-histidine, 89. These molecules are particularly enriched in tuna, 89. This, it has been argued, is why cats find tuna so palatable, as put by researchers into cat taste. The specific combination of the high IMP and free L-histidine contents of tuna, which produces a strong umami taste synergy that is highly preferred by cats, 89. One of the researchers in this research has stated, "I think umami is as important for cats as sweet is for humans." Cats also have a distinct temperature preference for their food, preferring food with a temperature around 38 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is similar to that of a fresh kill. Some cats reject cold food, which would signal to the cat that the prey item is long dead and therefore possibly toxic or decomposing. Communication. Main article, cat communication. Vocalizing domestic cat, a meow, duration, to seconds, 002. Domestic cats use many vocalizations for communication, including purring, trilling, hissing, growling, snarling, grunting, and several different forms of meowing. 107. Their body language, including position of ears and tail, relaxation of the whole body, and kneading of the paws, are all indicators of mood. The tail and ears are particularly important social signal mechanisms. A raised tail indicates a friendly greeting, and flattened ears indicate hostility. Tail raising also indicates the cat's position in the group's social hierarchy, with dominant individuals raising their tails less often than subordinate ones. 108. Feral cats are generally silent. 109. 208. Nose-to-nose touching is also a common greeting and may be followed by social grooming, which is solicited by one of the cats raising and tilting its head. Purring may have developed as an evolutionary advantage as a signaling mechanism of reassurance between mother cats and nursing kittens, who are thought to use it as a care-soliciting signal. Post-nursing cats also often purr as a sign of contentment when being petted, becoming relaxed, or eating. Although purring is popularly interpreted as indicative of pleasure, it has been recorded in a wide variety of circumstances, most of which involve physical contact between the cat and another, presumably trusted individual. Some cats have been observed to purr continuously when chronically ill or in apparent pain. The exact mechanism by which cats purr has long been elusive, but it has been proposed that purring is generated via a series of sudden buildups and releases of pressure as the glottis is opened and closed, which causes the vocal folds to separate forcefully. The laryngeal muscles in control of the glottis are thought to be driven by a neural oscillator, which generates a cycle of contraction and release every 30 to 40 milliseconds, giving a frequency of 33 to 25 Hz. Domestic cats observed in rescue facilities have 276 morphologically distinct facial expressions based on 26 facial movements. Each facial expression corresponds to different social functions that are probably influenced by domestication. Facial expressions have helped researchers detect pain in cats. The feline grimace scale's 5 criteria: ear position, orbital tightening, muzzle tension, whisker change, and head position indicated the presence of acute pain in cats. Fighting: a domestic cat hissing and arching its back. Among domestic cats, males are more likely to fight than females. Among feral cats, the most common reason for cat fighting is competition between two males to mate with a female. In such cases, most fights are won by the heavier male. Another common reason for fighting in domestic cats is the difficulty of establishing territories within a small home. Female cats also fight over territory or to defend their kittens. Neutering will decrease or eliminate this behavior in many cases, suggesting that the behavior is linked to sex hormones. When cats become aggressive, they try to make themselves appear larger and more threatening by raising their fur, arching their backs, turning sideways, and hissing or spitting. Often, the ears are pointed down and back to avoid damage to the inner ear and potentially listen for any changes behind them while focused forward. Cats may also vocalize loudly and bare their teeth in an effort to further intimidate their opponents. Fights usually consist of grappling and delivering slaps to the face and body with the forepaws, as well as bites. Cats also throw themselves to the ground in a defensive posture to rake their opponent's belly with their hind legs. Serious damage is rare, as the fights are usually short in duration, with the loser running away with little more than a few scratches to the face and ears. Fights for mating rights are typically more severe, and injuries may include deep puncture wounds and lacerations. Normally, serious injuries from fighting are limited to infections from scratches and bites, although these can occasionally kill cats if untreated. In addition, bites are probably the main route of transmission of the feline immunodeficiency virus. Sexually active males are usually involved in many fights during their lives and often have decidedly battered faces with obvious scars and cuts to their ears and nose. Cats are willing to threaten animals larger than them to defend their territory, such as dogs and foxes. Hunting and feeding, see also cat food. A domestic cat with its prey, a deer mouse. The shape and structure of cats' cheeks is insufficient to allow them to take in liquids using suction. Therefore, when drinking, they lap with the tongue to draw liquid upward into their mouths. Lapping at a rate of 4 times a second, the cat touches the smooth tip of its tongue to the surface of the water and quickly retracts it like a corkscrew, drawing water upward. Feral cats and free-fed house cats consume several small meals in a day. The frequency and size of meals varies between individuals. They select food based on its temperature, smell, and texture. They dislike chilled foods and respond most strongly to moist foods rich in amino acids, which are similar to meat. Cats reject novel flavors, a response termed neophobia, and learn quickly to avoid foods that have tasted unpleasant in the past. It is also a common misconception that cats like milk, cream, as they tend to avoid sweet food and milk. Most adult cats are lactose intolerant. The sugar in milk is not easily digested and may cause soft stools or diarrhea. 133. Some also develop odd eating habits and like to eat or chew on things such as wool, plastic, cables, paper, string, aluminum foil, or even coal. This condition, pica, can threaten their health, depending on the amount and toxicity of the items eaten. Cats hunt small prey, primarily birds and rodents, 135, and are often used as a form of pest control. 136. 137. Other common small creatures, such as lizards and snakes, may also become prey. 138. Cats use to hunting strategies, either stalking prey actively or waiting in ambush until an animal comes close enough to be captured. 139. The strategy used depends on the prey species in the area, with cats waiting in ambush outside burrows, but tending to actively stalk birds. 140. 153. Domestic cats are a major predator of wildlife in the United States, killing an estimated 1.3 to 4.0 billion birds and 6.3 to 20.3 billion mammals annually. Certain species appear more susceptible than others. In one English village, for example, 30% of house sparrow mortality was linked to the domestic cat. 142. In the recovery of ringed robins Erythicus rubicula and Dunnix prunella modularis in Britain, 31% of deaths were a result of cat predation. 143. In parts of North America, the presence of larger carnivores, such as coyotes, which prey on cats and other small predators, reduces the effect of predation by cats and other small predators, such as opossums and raccoons, on bird numbers and variety. Another poorly understood element of cat hunting behavior is the presentation of prey to human guardians. One explanation is that cats adopt humans into their social group and share excess kill with others in the group according to the dominance hierarchy, in which humans are reacted to as if they are at or near the top. 145. Another explanation is that they attempt to teach their guardians to hunt or to help their human, as if feeding an elderly cat or an inept kitten. 146. This hypothesis is inconsistent with the fact that male cats also bring home prey, despite males having negligible involvement in raising kittens. 140. 153. Play. Main article, cat play and toys. Play fight between kittens aged 14 weeks. Domestic cats, especially young kittens, are known. This behavior mimics hunting and is important in helping kittens learn to stalk, capture, and kill prey. 147. Cats also engage in play fighting, both with each other and with humans. This behavior may be a way for cats to practice the skills needed for real combat, and it might also reduce the fear that they associate with launching attacks on other animals. 148. Cats also tend to play with toys more when they are hungry. 149. Owing to the close similarity between play and hunting, cats prefer to play with objects that resemble prey, such as small furry toys that move rapidly, but they become habituated to a toy they have played with before. 150. String is often used as a toy, but if it is eaten, it can become caught at the base of the cat's tongue and then move into the intestines, a medical emergency which can cause serious illness, even death. 151. Reproduction. See also, kitten. When cats mate, the tomcat male bites the scruff of the female's neck as she assumes a position conducive to mating known as the cat secretes and perceives pheromones. 150. To female cats, called queens, are polyestrous with several estrous cycles during a year, lasting usually 21 days. They are usually ready to mate between early February and August. 153. In northern temperate zones and throughout the year in equatorial regions, several males, called tomcats, are attracted to a female in heat. They fight over her and the victor wins the right to mate. At first, the female rejects the male, but eventually, the female allows the male to mate. The female utters a loud yowl as the male pulls out of her, because a male cat's penis has a band of about 120 to 150 backward-pointing penile spines, which are about 1 mm 0.039 in long. Upon withdrawal of the penis, the spines may provide the female with increased sexual stimulation, which acts to induce ovulation. Radiography of a pregnant cat. The skeletons of two fetuses are visible on the left and right of the uterus. After mating, the female cleans her vulva thoroughly. If a male attempts to mate with her at this point, the female attacks him. After about 20 to 30 minutes, once the female is finished grooming, the cycle will repeat. Because ovulation is not always triggered by a single mating, females may not be impregnated by the first male with which they mate. Furthermore, cats are superfecund. That is, a female may mate with more than one male when she is in heat, with the result that different kittens in a litter may have different fathers. The morula forms 124 hours after conception. At 148 hours, early blastocysts form. At 10 to 12 days, implantation occurs. The gestation of queens lasts between 64 and 67 days, with an average of 65 days. A newborn kitten, based on a study of 2,300 free-ranging queens conducted from May 1998 and October 2000, they had 1 to 6 kittens per litter, with an average of 3 kittens. They produce a mean of 1.4 litters per year, but a maximum of 3 litters in a year. Of 169 kittens, 127 died before they were 6 months old due to a trauma caused in most cases by dog attacks and road accidents. 160. The first litter is usually smaller than subsequent litters. Kittens are weaned between 6 and 7 weeks of age. Queens normally reach sexual maturity at 5 to 10 months, and males at 5 to 7 months. This varies depending on breed. 156. Kittens reach puberty at the age of 9 to 10 months. Cats are ready to go to new homes at about 12 weeks of age, when they are ready to leave their mother. They can be surgically sterilized, spayed, or castrated as early as 7 weeks to limit unwanted reproduction. This surgery also prevents undesirable sex-related behavior, such as aggression, territory marking, spraying urine in males, and yowling calling in females. Traditionally, this surgery was performed at around 6 to 9 months of age, but it is increasingly being performed before puberty at about 3 to 6 months. In the United States, about 80% of household cats are neutered. Lifespan and health. Main articles: cat health and aging in cats. The average lifespan of pet cats has risen in recent decades. In the early 1980s, it was about 7 years, rising to 9.4 years in 1995, and an average of about 13 years as of 2014 and 2023. Neutering increases life expectancy. One study found castrated male cats live twice as long as intact males, while spayed female cats live 62% longer than intact females. 165:35 Having a cat neutered confers some health benefits, such as a greater life expectancy and a decreased incidence of reproductive neoplasia. 169. However, neutering decreases metabolism. 170, 171, 172, and increases food intake, both of which can cause obesity in neutered cats. 170 for prepubertal neutering. Neutering at 4 months or earlier was only recommended by 28% of American veterinarians in one study. Some concerns of early neutering were metabolic, retarded physeal closure, and urinary tract disease related. Disease. Main article: list of feline diseases. About 250 heritable genetic disorders have been identified in cats. Many are similar to human inborn errors of metabolism. 176. The high level of similarity among the metabolism of mammals allows many of these feline diseases to be diagnosed using genetic tests that were originally developed for use in humans, as well as the use of cats as animal models in the study of the human diseases. Diseases affecting domestic cats include acute infections, parasitic infestations, injuries, and chronic diseases such as kidney disease, thyroid disease, and arthritis. Vaccinations are available for many infectious diseases, as are treatments to eliminate parasites such as worms, ticks, and fleas. Humans. In some cases, the cat exhibits no symptoms of the disease. The same disease can then become evident in a human. The likelihood that a person will become diseased depends on the age and immune status of the person. Humans who have cats living in their home or in close association are more likely to become infected. Others might also acquire infections from cat feces and parasites exiting the cat's body. Some of the infections of most concern include salmonella, cat scratch disease, and toxoplasmosis.